Good morning, and welcome to another episode of Coffee with the Commission. I am Vaughn Poe, the Executive Director of the Alabama Real Estate Commission. I am joined today by two of our education auditors, Julie Norris.
Good morning.
Hi, Julie. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm fine. Thanks for joining us. And Dr. Brittany Jones Anderson.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us as well. Thank you for attending as well, attendees. We really appreciate your time. We know how busy you all are. We really are grateful that you've taken time out to spend about 30 minutes or so with us to talk about education. And hopefully we cover some good information out there. Of administrative note, if you have any questions, please use the raise your hand icon. We will acknowledge you and allow you to speak at that point to pose your question. We will unmute you, or you can unmute yourself, but when you're done speaking, please remute yourself so that other folks can ask questions as well. So that's about it on the administrative side. Thanks again for joining us. Let's jump right in there. So Julie, education auditor, tell us a little bit about yourself and about what you do.
Well, I came to the commission in 2007, so I have been here for 16 wonderful years. I came from the Montgomery County Board of Education. I taught for 17 years, taught English, and I have a physical education degree also. And I enjoy the work, love the coworkers. I really enjoy being here.
Excellent. Brittany?
So I've been here at the commission for nearly 10 months now.
Wow.
10 months, and
An eternity.
Yes, an eternity, a wonderful eternity. And I came from higher education, so I spent nearly 6.5 years in academic student services and first-year studies. And as part of first-year studies, I taught traditional college-age students and adult learners student success strategies and just help them transition into college more successfully and smoothly.
Oh, wow.
And I would like to say about Brittany that she is very smart and a fast learner. We share an office, so I hear her on the phone, and she was early on answering complicated questions, and I was thinking, I haven't taught her that yet, so she is training herself well.
Thank you, Julie. Shout out to Julie, excellent trainer here.
Well, that is great to hear because, very often you all are the front line of licensee and student interaction. They'll call with a question or concern, and it's awesome that you all are there on the spot and you're catching on quick after only having been here for 10 months. So thank you all so much for what you do.
It's a pleasure.
So about audits and about education, I know that there are different types of audits that we conduct here at the commission, but you all specifically focus on education. Julie, would you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, most are aware that we have company auditors, Vicki, Denise, and Anthony, that visit brokers and companies and give them guidance on effective and compliant practice. We work the same way. We do the same for instructors and administrators. We observe and make suggestions, let them know what they do well, but we also provide assistance to help them. So we're not out to get anyone, we're out to help, and we partner with instructors and administrators, and when we make suggestions, they are really good to respond and they appreciate it, and we move along. But overall, we are very happy with what we see in many of the audits, but we do identify issues and help work through those.
Okay, very interesting. Are there any questions out there so far from anyone? Please feel free to ask questions if you have them. No questions? So we talk a lot about what you all see when you're out auditing, and for me, that's trending analysis and one-offs. What are some trends and one-offs that you see out there?
Well, I think that it's really refreshing to see, especially with my being a new education auditor, that I'll visit classrooms and the students are so warm and friendly, and it almost feels like a family environment. And I just come right in and they're welcoming to me as well, and they figure out who I am sitting in the back of the classroom. But that's nice to see that the instructors have taken the time to really create a comfortable, relaxing, and inviting environment such that you walk in and the students are like friends and family, and they form study groups. So I think that's so cool to
yes,
see.
I do. I agree. Then it is attributed to instructors who set a warm, caring environment. And so students are comfortable. They learn better when the instructors take the time to make it comfortable for the students.
Yeah.
So are there any one-offs that you all have seen out there, or things that are just sort of outlandish? And
I did. There was a sleeper. There was a sleeper in one class that snored very loudly.
Really?
But he woke up when students laughed at him. But that does not happen often. Then
No.
in defense of the instructor, it was a late night pre-license course. So,
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So taking that into consideration, are there any things that you all want to convey to our attendees as far as things that you would like to see or things that you wish to see in your classroom environments out there?
Yep, definitely. Well, we want to see that instructors are taking the time to thoroughly prepare, that they're knowledgeable, they know the content, they're not going to confuse students, especially in the pre-license courses. And we want to see, too, they're taking the time to create and plan for engaging activities so that they're not just reading from a textbook, they're not just reading off of a PowerPoint slide, they're throwing case studies, demonstrations, games in there, think, pair, and share activities, and that they're also just keeping students involved. There's discussion. There's not just the instructor talking the entire 150 minutes or so of the class.
Yes, we'd love to see engagement, and it's not difficult to include engaging activities. It can be a brief activity, but engagement keeps it interesting for the students because it is really hard to listen to someone read or talk for even 5 or 10 minutes. So throwing something else in there, even simple, can make a class much more effective.
Wow. Yeah. So you're out there, you're auditing, you're going through the process. What types of courses do you all audit?
Well, we audit any course. So the CE courses, the pre-license courses, distance education, the in-person, the classroom courses, post-license, all the CE. So the mandatory broker CE, risk management, CE elective courses. So if it is a course that we have approved, just know that we may see you.
So Julie, you've been here for a while. Brittany, you've been here for 10 months. Have you all seen any improvements or declinations in education and the quality of education that we have? I know COVID-19 presented a lot of challenges to delivering real estate education, but that has changed now. We're out of COVID, but there were some changes that occurred during COVID that have pushed forward now. So what do you all see in that way with respect to technology or just tools and things that are being used?
I think there's been an improvement. The feedback letters that we write, mine are just becoming, they've been easier. I don't have as many issues or suggestions to address in a lot of my letters. So I think overall real estate education in Alabama has improved. And I was really impressed during COVID when instructors were thrown into the online world that weren't used to it. And we started auditing the online courses. I was overall impressed with the ease with which a lot of them did it. There were some issues with monitoring the attendees, their behavior. Some attendees wouldn't want to stay on the screen or too much movement, but if they have facilitators, that it worked better. But as long as you state up front what the expectations are, the instruction was good, and the monitoring could have been a little better. But overall, I was impressed with the adjustment during COVID.
Okay, Interesting. Have you seen any similar trends or in your 10 months? What's your observations of just the use of technology and distance education in general?
I think that instructors have quickly realized that teaching via distance education media is not as easy as it might seem, that there are certain standards that they have to meet. There's a lot of preparation, and not saying that there isn't preparation involved when you're teaching in person, live instruction, but it takes time to make sure that you're complying with our license law in terms of engagement and offering quality education via distance education.
And keeping their attention is you have to have a lot of energy and engagement even in the distance education.
Wow. So Brittany, you mentioned standards. What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean specifically that there's a minimum level of quality that we want to see in distance education. And I think it's worth throwing out there that anyone who's interested in teaching a distance education course would first have to get it approved by ARELO, the Association of Real Estate License Law Officials. That's our first requirement. The course has to go through ARELO's check for the quality design and delivery of the course. And then after the course is ARELO certified, then an instructor would submit it to us for us to then evaluate the content of it and ensure the content is up to par and up to, again, that minimal level of quality that we want to see, so that ultimately we are protecting consumers and we're producing quality real estate professionals and instructors.
Very interesting. Are there any questions out there relative to anything that we've discussed so far? Distance education, what the auditors do and how they do it, what they look for when they're coming out. Any questions at all? Questions?
While we're waiting, I wanted to mention that Brittany and I also will do assistance visits if there's new instructor or new administrator that needs help in getting started or advice, guidance, we're happy we're able to go out and visit those as well.
Wow. An assistance visit for education.
Yes,
Yes.
we've worked with them on how to create lesson plans for the pre-license course, administrators on how to keep records and post-course schedules, enter credit. We'll help them with that.
Okay, wow. And I do realize, I think I was speaking with Ryan Adair the other day, and he mentioned that we just went through an education renewal cycle. And a result of that is that so far we have renewed about 670 education licenses. And so the education licensee community is still very vibrant, still growing. And I think some folks are getting into education as the market is shifting and adjusting. So that is very informative, but then also makes us very appreciative of what you all are doing out there to make certain that we're delivering quality education to our real estate students. Are there any other things that you all would like to talk about relative to education or education audits?
We also, Brittany and I, we do a new instructor orientation.
Okay.
Pam Oates has always done a phenomenal job, so I always dreaded the day I would be taking it over because she is amazing. But Brittany and I, we did our first one together in August. I think.
Yep.
And it went well. We're excited about now we're more excited than just nervous, but it went well and we're excited. But we offer that several times a year to new instructors teaching the pre-license and post-license courses. They go through a 2-day orientation. We provide information on license law pertaining to education and also on strategies for instruction. And then on the second day, they do a little presentation, but we do provide that as well several times a year.
Is there a capacity for that course, or can
10,
anyone join?
Well, there are qualifications. Is that what you're asking? There are
Well,
qualifications.
both.
But we max out at 10 per session, and they do have to go through the process, the application process with Pam Oates. They have to meet the points for qualifications. They also have to pass a content exam and a general content exam and a license law exam. They need to make do well enough on those and their presentation to make a score of 70 in order to qualify to teach.
Okay, interesting. Has that course been well attended, poorly attended?
Well, we haven't. Sometimes we toward the end people drop off and we don't follow through that and we have to wait for the next one. Our next one will be in November.
Oh wow. Yeah. That's just around the corner.
Actually, no, our next one is in February.
Yep, so the next one will be February.
We had one in November, but a couple people had to drop out late for emergencies, so we're going to do one. We have another one coming up in January, February. We'll set those dates at our education meeting in November.
Okay, wow. Very, very interesting. Very interesting. I think real estate education is very engaging, but also very beneficial in that basically it's the indoctrination process for our next generation of real estate practitioners. And so the education portion is very, very relevant to having a real estate community because no education, no license. So
Correct.
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
So, well, we've talked a little bit about education audits. We've talked a little bit about who you all are. Is there anything else that you all want to say to the audience or attendees? Do you have any questions for us?
Well,
No
and while we're waiting, it's worth adding that Julie and I recently created a form to help our instructors ensure that to the end that they're preparing their students well for the license exam, a form that helps instructors evaluate how closely their course final exams mirror the state license exam. And so that form, if any instructors are interested, they can contact either Julie or me, and we'd be happy to provide that to them.
Yes, that's for pre-licensed instructors.
Okay.
During school audits, we review the exams and we think, these are good questions, solid, good exams, but we recently were excited about this form because it helps pre-licensed instructors identify if their exam matches the content spread. So if there are 8 questions on the state exam on this topic, they might find, we had 20, so it's not an even spread. So we're hoping that will be a good tool.
Wow.
It's just a chart that you can fill out to see if your exams mirror the license exam.
Sounds invaluable to folks out there. Very, very good. Thank you all so very much.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions? Questions? Well, that was brief. But we would like to thank those of you who chose to attend today. And I would like to take this opportunity to remind you that tomorrow will be our regularly scheduled commission hearing. We will be aboard the University of Alabama at the University of Alabama Law School. We'll begin broadcasting at 9 a.m. Again, as an admin reminder, if for some reason you have to come before the commissioners, please be mindful of your attire. It goes without saying, this is a professional thing that the commissioners do with our hearings, and they are very professional, and so please dress professionally. In that, if you have any remaining questions that you may think of later, you can reach us by telephone at area code 334-242-5544. We have a very active webpage, arec.alabama.gov. We have a very active Facebook page at AREC Alabama Gov, one word. We are also on X, formerly known as Twitter. Our handle is at AREC Alabama Gov, one word. We also have Briefly Legal, which is hosted quarterly. The next Briefly Legal will be held on November 1st at 10 a.m. I think they're discussing legislation and a few other issues. Very, very exciting. We anticipate a lot of attendees there. Also, in closing, we have a YouTube channel that's very active. We field questions on a daily basis, and what we try to do is collate those questions into videos or vignettes. Our CPR division creates those, and they're hosted out on our YouTube channel. That YouTube channel is at AREC Alabama Gov, one word as well. Again, if you have any questions, there are many different ways to reach out to us and get an answer. We're always here to help. Please join us on Wednesday, November 29th, 2023 for the next Coffee with the Commission. Thanks for joining and have a wonderful week.